Okay guys, this is part 2 of a visit to Kitt Peak, and it's describing the observatory where there's multiple telescopes that are observing what is happening in our sky. And it also talks about how there was a solar telescope that they used during the daytime to study the sun, and then there's all these other telescopes that they use at night to study the night sky. Okay? Remember, never look directly at the sun. Yeah, that's not very good for your eyes. Don't do that. Don't do that. The first of 3 mirrors used to look at the sun sits atop the solar telescope. Okay, so we're still talking about the solar telescope, and there's multiple mirrors that they use to actually reflect the sun's light so they can study it. Okay. Astronomers move the mirrors so they can follow the sun across the sky. They sit in an observation room underground and watch the sun through the telescope. The room is full of computers that position the mirrors and record what the astronomers see. They record things like sunstorms, when they happen, how long they last, and how large an area the storm covers. Yeah, it's true. There are storms that are on the sun. The sun, like Earth, has storms, and that can cause some issues sometimes. So here we see a nice picture, and the caption says, sunlight from the second mirror reflects off the third mirror to go down into the observing room. Okay, so they're using mirrors to reflect the sun's light and the sun's rays down into their observing room, and that's where they can study it. Okay. 2.1 meter telescope building and its telescope. Okay, so here's the building. So we have a cylinder type building with a cone or a kind of sphere on the top, and here is the telescope inside that building. Okay, so it's inside. You can see it's in this top part. Right here at the top there's an opening where this telescope can study up into the night sky. Okay, so it can view up into the night sky. Okay, you can see another building that is very similar. This is talking about star telescopes. So these star telescopes are built, their structures are different. Okay, they're not studying, they're studying stars, which is what the sun is, but the sun is just so large and so bright that it needed a different type of structure in order for us to be able to study it. The stars that we look at out in the night sky aren't as bright and as huge as the sun, so we use different types of building structures to allow us to study that. And you can see how these structures are like, yeah, a cylinder base on both of those with a spherical top. Okay, so we have the 2.1 meter telescope and the mile 4 meter telescope building and its control room. Okay, so these are a lot smaller, 2.1 meters and 4 meters tall. Star telescopes. On the tour, I also got to see 2 star telescopes, the 2.1 meter telescope and the 4 meter telescope. They look like giant fat pencil tops with rounded erasers. The eraser looking part is called the dome. The telescope is inside the dome. So inside this top part here, this dome shape, okay, is where the telescopes are actually found. Okay. Sorry guys. The building for the 4 meter telescope is almost 200 feet high. Okay, so it's not just 2.1 meters and 4 meters. Okay, that's telling us, I think, how big the telescope is, not how big the building is. Okay, it's so big that you can see it from 50 miles away. These star telescopes are much bigger than any telescopes I've seen at my astronomy club meetings. That's true. These are huge telescopes. They are being able to see things that people who are that have telescopes at home could never see. They're far more powerful. Okay. Through my backyard telescope, I can see Jupiter's spot and the rings of Saturn. Imagine what I could see with 90 more feet of telescope. That'd be awesome. Data from the WIN 3.5 meter telescope on Kitt Peak combined with data from the Hubble Space Telescope produced this image of the starburst galaxy M82. So when they can take some data from two different sources, it gives us a better idea of what's happening. So this is very interesting. Okay, I'm going to move this way. To work the star telescopes, astronomers use computers to turn the dome so the telescope points to the part of the sky they want to study. Scientists open the door in the dome to let in the outside air. The tour guide explained that you need to keep the temperature of the air around the telescope the same temperature as the air outside. If the two temperatures are different, the air will move and change the image that is seen in the telescope. Okay, so they have to be similar, or else it's going to mess up the image. The picture isn't going to be actually what it should be. Okay? Do you know? Have you seen the air above a hot road look wavy? So if you're ever driving down the highway and it looks in front of you, if you're looking down the highway, it looks like there's waves coming off of the highway. Okay, just like that, air moving in the dome will change what astronomers see. Right. It's when the hot air is mixing with something that's a bit cooler than it, it kind of gives it this wavy look. Or if you were in the desert, sometimes it will look like it's a mirage. It looks like there's water out there, and there really isn't. So that is what will happen if the telescope temperature isn't the same as the air temperature around it. Okay. The open dome of the mile 4 meter telescope shows a great view of the sunset. That's true. Okay, so here we have a telescope. Astronomer Jim Devaney pulls an all-nighter at the 2.1 meter telescope. I'm assuming astronomers have to pull all-nighters a lot. They're studying the night sky, so you have to be awake all night. Since astronomers use the star telescopes to look at the night sky, they get to stay up all night and sleep all day. Signs outside say, "Day sleepers, quiet please." My older brother could use one of those signs on his bedroom door. It's true, there are some people that do love to stay up all night and sleep during the day. Dormitory number 1, day sleepers, quiet please. Okay. Star searching from home. Okay. I study the stars from home with a pair of binoculars or my telescope. A star chart helps me know where to look for certain stars, planets, moons, or constellations. I can see most of these things with binoculars, but I need to use a telescope to see nebulae and most galaxies. Okay? So yeah, if you take a pair of binoculars at nighttime and you look up on a clear night, you can see a lot of stars. You can see things closer up. But certain things, a pair of binoculars is just not going to cut it. You need a telescope. Each season, the evening sky looks a little different. As Earth moves and rotates in its orbit, so remember, Earth is rotating around, it's also moving around the sun. So it's moving around the sun and it's rotating itself. So the night sky actually changes depending on where the Earth is around the sun. Okay? Where the Earth is around the sun is also going to change where the Earth is seeing different stars. As the Earth moves and rotates in its orbit, you can see different things. I make sure to have an up-to-date star chart because I want to know what's in the sky above me each night. I found a cool star chart on the internet by typing the words star chart into a search engine. That's true. You can find lots of star charts and lots of information out there now. So if you're interested in this, go check it out. You can check out, Google up a star chart Be specific. Star chart Manitoba. Okay, because our star chart, what we're going to see in our night sky is going to be very different than somebody who's living in China and seeing what's up in their night sky based on where we are on the earth. Okay, use a star chart made for your area and the time of year you are looking at the sky. True, you have to make sure that you're saying Manitoba, January, February, winter time, something like that, to let them know what season you're in, because our earth is always on the move, so our night sky will be different depending on what season we're in. Okay, data from the 0.9 meter telescope at Kitt Peak produced this image of the Horsehead Nebula. Oh, that looks pretty cool. Okay, conclusion. Are you one of those kids who wonders whether astronomers search for aliens in their telescopes? I actually heard someone ask that question during my tour at Kitt Peak. But most people know that's science fiction, not science. Astronomers, even amateurs like me, study stars, planets, and galaxies, and write about the facts. Science fiction writers study about astronomy and use their imagination to tell a story. I think the truth is often much more amazing than any imagined story. Don't you? Okay, so she says astronomers, they are studying the facts. Now, if their facts prove that there were aliens up in outer space, then that isn't science fiction anymore, it's facts. And that's one of the most wonderful and beautiful things about science, is that their facts are always changing because they're learning so much more all the time. Okay? And we have here our glossary that goes over the words amateur, astronomer, constellations, image, observatory, reflected light, telescopes, trolley, and windbreak. Okay, and that is it for our visit to Kitt Peak. Make sure you are completing your written expectations as well. Visualize information from each section of the text, then draw what you pictured in the boxes. So draw some pictures showing what it looked like in your mind. Okay, on the back we have, read each phrase below, change the group of words to show a possessive noun. An example is done for you. The land of the tribe, remember this land on Kitt Peak actually belongs to an indigenous tribe in America, in Tucson, Arizona, but they have allowed this observatory to be built there. So we change it to the tribe's land. Apostrophe S, because that land belongs to this group of people. Okay? The lights of the city, the city's, C-I-T-Y, apostrophe S, lights. Okay? The lights belong to the city. Okay? We're just going to look up some words. Okay, look up each content vocabulary word in the dictionary, fill in the information as needed. Look up these. You can use them in the dictionary, or you could use the glossary. Okay, amateur and definition as used in the text. So give the definition here and just give me an example of where it's used in the story. And then once again, just some quick read the question and fill in the correct answer. All right, guys, good luck, and I'll see you at our next Teams meeting. Bye.